Welcome to day 2 of Brand and Leadership Conclave 2020. Firstly, congratulations to all the winners who were awarded for their exemplary achievements. Let's get our day 2 started with our first speaker. Ekta Kapoor was born to be a prodigy in the world of Indian entertainment industry. She introduced us to an entire genre of television content. A whole new dimension of the Indian entertainment industry was formed when Ekta Kapoor decided to start her own production house, Balaji Telefilms Limited, in the year 1994. Balaji has provided us with outstanding, delightful and engaging entertainment content, and for most of the general entertainment broadcasters, Balaji shows have always been the channel drivers. I would request Ms. Ekta Kapoor to join us on screen.
Hello, Ms. Kapoor. I welcome you to the White Page International Leadership Conclave. I would like to ask you a few things about yourself and the award you are getting. So to begin, I would like to ask you, the whole world has seen a change in the economy and the way business is being done now. New corporate rules are being formed, new ways are being generated to fuel the economy. What are your views on this new set of rules that we are creating now for the businesses?
So the new world is going to bring a new norm, and with everything that is changing around us, we will have to adapt and some way excel after that. So even in, like, let's take a personal example, like my own company, we were very scared to get back to production. There were these SOPs that were very tough. The choice was between creating jobs, and the other option was to see that we save lives and not take any kind of safety, what do you call, lapse. And it was a catch 22 situation. But eventually we decided to go ahead and work because, like you said, the economy has to come bounce back, because while we are needing to fight this new virus in the in the world, this pandemic, we also need to see that job creation and getting the economy back on track is an equal important function, because people cannot survive without having a certain amount of monthly income, at least not the daily wages. People. So my understanding on my own company, and then of course worldwide, is that the new norm is here. It is precarious, it is full of doubt, but it's how we move forward, which is actually, there is opportunity in crisis, there is empathy that comes out in crisis, and the biggest of all, there is skill and efficiency that has to be practiced in crisis.
Great thoughts there. India and the world is now moving towards digital platforms, and we've seen it, like you and I are talking through a digital platform right now. Alt Balaji is a digital platform, OTT platform, and you launched it in 2017. You already have about 27 million subscribers. Where do you see Alt Balaji going forward from here now?
So, all Balaji was created not to overlap. I mean, there will always be some overlap, but not to really overlap with the audiences of Netflix and the urban mass and really urban apps. It was created because TV itself was becoming, for the Indian masses, a very it only provided family viewing content. We as individuals have a separate taste when we view content alone. It was created with a content bent in mind. Of course, it was a tech consumer app, very clearly with content in it to drive customers, and constantly we based our analysis and our next level of content only keeping the data in mind. So this growth is just the skimming of the surface. Of course, it is doubled and tripled in the crisis called the pandemic we are facing. But it is not just this. It could have scaled because of the pandemic, but the time is here where people want individual viewing. Programming cannot be made for a like a one size fits all, which television does. Films is too expensive, the whole outing becomes too expensive. Digital is going to provide for the urban Indian and for the mass Indian um, individual taste programming. And I feel this is a huge opportunity with a 1.3 billion population for all Balaji and the other apps to grow. Ours clearly being very, very smartly priced is meant for the mass Indian, and we're hopefully growing there and we'll continue doing the same.
Great, great. And I wish you the best of luck in Alt Balaji. In 1994, you changed the way Indian entertainment was consumed by the viewers. You brought in Balaji telefilms, and I mean I was a youngster myself at that time, and I remember watching Star TV and all the new genre of content you brought in. How has your journey been so far, and where do you see Balaji telefilms going from here on?
I read somewhere, and I believe it totally, that no company can survive if it doesn't change its DNA every 10 years. And I believe that we've been able to adapt, grow, scale up in our core competency, at the same time get out of a comfort zone and do clutter breaking content in order to create noise, at the same time work on our ROIs. We've constantly worked on, from television to movies to now digital content, to cater to different tastes, and we've not tried to stick to our popularly known genres. 94, I started with a sitcom called Hum Panch, and then we went on to in 2000 creating content for Star Plus, which became landmark content. Of course, we all know that, but we never wanted to actually be stuck with a certain genre or certain thought process. We constantly wanted to evolve, and while we created a lot of content in our core competency, we didn't want to get stuck there. So I think Balaji Telefilms will continuously create content in the soap format, but it'll also do dramas, it'll also do thrillers, it'll also do clutter breaking, edgy content, it'll also do slightly adult content, and it'll do mature, sensible, smart programming as well, and like unabashed mass entertainers on the other hand. So, as a company, I think it's just the tip of the iceberg again, because content is going to see a huge growth with all these apps coming in, Indian and international ones, and with such a huge consumer market available to us, with everyone now no longer watching the same show, or five people in a house not watching one television show, while everyone is watching their own individual show, and a show can be watched once, and then people will watch about four shows or five shows a month. You can just imagine the amount of content that is required to fill in the absolutely growing appetite of Indians. And I'm not even capturing the international market in this statement.
You're absolutely right. I mean, content is king, as we know in the media industry. There's nothing in the media if you don't have any content. You're a great achiever, Miss Kapoor, and you have been a leader of the industry, not just in India but worldwide. And you have been recognized this time in the 100 most inspirational women by White Page International Conclave. Your achievements are unparalleled to the most women I know in the world who are at the top. How do you feel about being recognized in this award?
Uh, Grateful, full of gratitude, honored, humbled, and extremely charged to continue marching on, and hopefully empowering many more women, and knowing that many more of my Indian colleagues and counterparts and peers hopefully will be in that list soon. So
That is
really,
great.
really overwhelmed.
That is so good to hear, because women empowerment, education are the two pillars which every country needs and every industry needs. And I think you are a big inspiration to the women of India. And you're also your company is also getting another award, which is the India's most admired brand, which is being given to All Balaji for the year 2020. What do you think about that one?
I'm more than anything else, more than a personal award, this means everything to me. My teams are working day and night. We fight against with very we're very light on capital, very high on effort, and we work day and night tirelessly with a very efficient team to create an app that has had probably more impact than many other apps, with only original programming, without any catalog, and without any what you call catch up television, no sport. So it was a journey that people had almost written off, to actually be showing up in the top 3 apps in the country year on year. It's been a humbling journey, and it's overwhelming to get this award for the app, because the app for me is probably where my most of my time goes, and that's where I want to actually see my future growth. I see it in this app, you know? So thank you so much.
Mr. Pramod Sharma is the CEO of iStrap India and the Middle East. A well-known technology usability expert, he has the potential to offer far-reaching acceptance, achieving business and technology solutions to fulfill business demands. He is a passionate professional skilled with proven adaptability and innovation, leveraging the industry and best IT practices. I would request sir to please join us on screen.
Hello everyone, I'm Pramod Sharda. I'm the CEO for ISOP India and Middle East office, and today I'm here to share with you some of my thoughts and my views on the topic of adoption of digital tools in pandemic era. And basically I'm sure like this topic is known to everybody, talking about, I think there are a lot of webinars, a lot of shows happening right now for people, for organizations, everywhere, to understand how this pandemic has affected lives, work culture, living at professional, personal level for everybody. And during this pandemic, how people actually had to embrace technology in every sphere of life, whether it's about professional, personal. So it's what I would like to share today is like, what is our learning, what have we seen, what have we observed across us as ISOP as an organization today. So as I mentioned before, like ISOP is a global company. We are into email and collaboration solutions. Our heart of our services, collaboration, communication, that's our main business. And what we see, what we understand that, collaboration, communication was always there, was always used, but widely used by very few of the industries, in every country, So typically, like, a BPO or IT or a call center, or the primary or a BFSI, sector was widely using technology in terms of collaboration and communication to the best extent possible, But other industries, verticals they didn't have the need or the feel that they should go for it, because they had the culture where people were meeting, they were traveling, and they were doing business by traveling worldwide. Basically, whether it's a country or cross countries, they used to always do that. Now, when it came to pandemic, adapting and adopting, both were a challenge for people across the board. Companies had to find overnight solutions. What is that they need to opt for? What is that they need to go for example? And the easiest part for them was that, do they have a solution for able to collaborate and communicate? So I think it's very common that you see everybody today coming on a call, on a mobile, on a desktop, laptop, whether it's a student, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a professor, whether it's a lawyer, the Supreme Court, the High Court, the offices. Today practically everybody is virtually meeting online on different applications today for doing their business transactions, or for their education, or even for hospitals, even for medicines. So it is more of a virtual meeting up, catching up with people, understanding what's going on, and exchanging ideas and businesses. So I would say the adoption of technology in this era has happened the fastest, in the shortest time, and by all walks of life, by all kind of people, all age of people. Any age of person has adopted it. Any size of company, any household today has adopted it. So I think the pandemic, the biggest thing happened in the pandemic is that the adoption rate happen quickly, very quickly, very easily, very smoothly, which possibly would have not been the case in a normal scenario. You know, people learn themselves, people taught each other very well, so it's quick and fast. So I think that is what happened. And beyond that, people also would like to understand what's going on in terms of, you know, the future part of it, whether this is going to continue or not going to continue right now. So I think from my perspective, if I look at over here, I think the hybrid culture for work and for office is going to stay. So whether you talk about office and home, this culture for hybrid is going to stay for a long time. Until then, we do not feel comfortable. Until then, we don't feel very sure about, you know, our well-beings and our people around us. That okay, safe, absolutely safe to be outside. I think this culture will prevail, and it can also prevail for many reasons. One reason can be for cost cutting. Like, you know, many companies today have found out that there is no reason for a certain section of employees to come to the office and work, and some of them can come to office, and some of them they do not need to come office on daily basis. So the whole acceptance of this concept of hybrid is going to be the future, I would believe, for a couple of years to come, because people, due to this pandemic, people found out, okay, what is worthwhile, what is not worthwhile. What earlier was a norm, today is not the norm. What earlier was a rule or a system, today is not required examples. You know, so they found many ways that, okay, fine, how adopting of technology today, of various tools today available right now, how they could ensure data security, they can ensure employee productivity, they can ensure, example, smooth communication, collaboration, quickly, easily, and they can be more productive. I think everybody today, we speak today, they definitely feel that they are more productive because the time to travel is very less right now, and they can do much more in a day than they used to do before, actually. So I think this is something which is the, you know, what I believe. So collaboration is the future, definitely the future. I think new tools would be the innovation and introduction to in the world. So I think as and when people feel the need of it, people will feel the crunch of it. I think new innovation will keep coming in the market right now. And today, from ISO perspective, if I look at ISO perspective, ISO today being a company providing email collaboration and communication platform globally, being a customer base of having 50 million people. So we have 50 million people using ISO services worldwide, and primarily our customer base was out of India. And we came in India 5 years back. So we saw that people were primarily using email as the only mode of communication when it came to video calls or chat or collaboration or team working. The culture was not there. The culture was not there. Because the culture was not there, they did not adopt these technologies. They felt more comfortable to have meetings in boardrooms and conference rooms. They felt more comfortable to call customers, vendors to their premises and have meetings. But they would like to have a team meetings. So all this because when we are in the market, we realize that, you know, when we are providing solutions to customers today, these customers today are able to use effectively all the services of ISO, which we had asked them. You know, we had this tool with us, where these tools can be used for these purposes, but it was good to have, and they bought it, but they never use it. And this pandemic gave that thrust, gave that acceleration immediately to adopt the services. So today we are able to provide customers quickly from a single window, so from a single place. They can efficiently have an email communication. At the same time, they can see who's online. They can chat, they can send a message, they can leave a voicemail, they can have a video call, they can call for a meeting online immediately, they can share documents, they can co-edit documents at the same time. So from ISO perspective, we see that now all our capabilities of our products are being used by our customers, and they are able to fulfill their objective of having a complete digital platform for the communication, collaboration with ISO. That's what I see, and I think the trends which we saw globally earlier, which were not falling in India, are now falling in place. Now people have accepted that, and now it's been completely deployed everywhere in India also. That's what I believe. And At the same time, I would also say that, today we are truly a company where we can also do hybrid with other email platforms. For example, if you're using a Gmail or an Office 365 example or Exchange, we can help you to do hybrid. So same time, you do not have to overhaul or change your entire platform. You can have two systems running at the same time and collaborate with these people to get that one platform. So with this, I would like to leave some thoughts with you at how, what's the feedback I gave you right now. So things are good, things are pretty good. I think the technology advantage what we have is today giving people from all walks of life the option that they can work from anywhere. They can do a lot of things at the same time. So this will prevail, this will go ahead, and as ISOP as a company, we would definitely keep on striving the best to keep on innovating and evolving from this and offering the best platform to our customers. Thanks a lot. Have a nice evening.
Thank you so much, sir. Our next speaker is Mr. Arvind Goel. He has been the Managing Director and CEO of the company since 2018. Under his able leadership, Tata Autocom has entered into 6 new joint ventures, 2 technological agreements, and acquired Titan X, a global leader in engine and powertrain cooling systems based in Sweden.
The recent COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the way people live, work, and interact with each other across the globe. In India and in many countries, we faced lockdown to contain the spread of the virus. Everything came to standstill. This had a huge impact on business and the economy. As we started unlocking, we could see the demand improve, and the festive season saw some good recovery in most business sectors. Having said that, the COVID-19 pandemic has altered the way we do business in many ways. The need for maintaining social distancing will force many changes in office, factory layouts, etc. In the job possible, work from home will be encouraged. Plant layouts will have to be altered to ensure social distancing, often affecting workflow and work processes. Here too, adaptation of automation, machine learning, and IoT will increase, which will have a positive impact on quality and efficiency. Social distancing and work from home will have its own challenges. Much of our learning of workplace happens through observations and interaction. This will get hampered a lot, and hence a new emphasis on training and developing certain skills will be necessary. At Tata Autocom, we inducted multiple learning opportunities to our employees. This also helped in keeping them engaged and motivated. Hence, from the business perspective, the form of keeping employees engaged constantly, enhancing their skill sets and imparting relevant knowledge will undergo a significant change. At Tata Autocom, the amount of training digitally we did now is unprecedented, and virtually every employee has got trained in some subject or the other. Adaptation of internet-based digital technology will certainly increase. We have already been accustomed and by now conducting business meetings over Zoom and MS Teams, etc. We at Tata Autocom, even on a digital platform, celebrated our 25th anniversary, which was attended by more than 16,000 people. Such platforms will become of norm, and the need for physical meetings and travel will reduce. This too has brought in a lot of saving in terms of time and cost. India needs to now become self-reliant in terms of technology. The Honorable Prime Minister's dream of Atmanirbhar Bharat has to come true. Allow me to take an example from the auto industry in which we belong. Much of the critical components of Bharat Stage 6 vehicles are still imported. We need to ensure that these are 100% localized and we fully adopt localized technology. This will call for an investment, and the entire ecosystem, starting from government, OEMs and component industry, will have to create a fresh approach toward ensuring economically viable models. At Tata Autocom, we have been investing in bringing such technologies into India, and of late towards electric vehicles. We are investing in creating engineering and R&D capabilities so that we can develop product and services suitable for India market. The other opportunity that we see is the growth of emerging market. These are markets that have similar cost challenges like India, that bring some export opportunities to the table and hence offer economics of scales. Last but not the least, industry and government together will have to find ways and means to generate employment. The pandemic has put many people out of job. As long as there is unemployment, the economy cannot grow to its full potential. We at Tata Autocom ensure that each and every employee is there with us during this pandemic time.
Our next speaker is Mr. Sanky Prasad, Chairman Managing Director, Conclave International. With over 35 years of experience in real estate industry, he has played an instrumental role in delivering numerous landmarks real estate projects across India, UK, Africa and AMP. Mr. Prasad is responsible for leading the client strategy and growth for Conclave International India business. I would request Mr. Prasad to please join us on screen.
India is playing an increasingly important role in the global economy and has emerged as a preferred destination for investors from across the globe. Key initiatives, policy changes and a slew of reforms have put India on the global map as one of the fastest growing economies. The favorable demographics of India has created a robust domestic consumption market that has propelled growth. Furthermore, the pro-business environment provided by the government policies is helping attract investments into the country. Reforms, including the goods and service tax, the creation of a logistics park policy, and the development of multi-nodal infrastructure, among other factors, the industrial and logistics sector is becoming more organized, with investors showing significant interest. The accelerated influx of such strategic investments into India have been playing a key role in boosting the country's exports and generating increased demand for warehousing facilities. Global manufacturing players are evaluating in India to set up their respective manufacturing bases, complementing their existing one in the Asia region. We believe India, with its large labor force and domestic consumer market, is well positioned to increase its global supply chain market share over the next 3 to 5 years. In 2020, the fall of GDP resulting from health-related restriction in business environment has slowed the anticipated growth in various sectors. The government has been proactive in announcing fiscal stimulus package to revive the economy, especially in sectors such as manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, automobiles, real estate and IT, BPM, amongst others. While the real estate sector too has seen its share of impact, there has been some bounce back and the emergence of new trends and asset classes. Asset classes such as data centers are steered by growing demand for cloud infrastructure, have gained prominence. Steady rental income from commercial office assets and increased impetus from government to revive demand in the residential sectors are also factors contributing to growth in the real estate sector. Overall, India is expected to see a U-shaped recovery, and GDP is likely to expand by 11 to 12% in 2021 from a decline of around 11% in 2020. There are some silver linings that are likely to push the GDP growth at an average of 5.5% a year until 2028. Firstly, the Indian middle class is on course to expand. The number of households with an income greater than $30,000 is likely to more than double over the next decade. Secondly, India is competitive in international markets with unit labor costs among the lowest in the BRIC economies. Thirdly, the thrust on infrastructure development by the government will help supply increase in line with demand for goods and services. Infrastructure building would spur the much needed multiplier effect as greater investments are being poured into logistics, manufacturing, etc. These would generate higher employment and improve demand across sectors, ease of doing business and business competitiveness. International investors are bullish on the commercial office sector, industrial and warehousing parks and data centers. We are seeing increasing activity in preparation for launching stressed asset funds and new REITs from foreign as well as Indian players. We are seeing great opportunities ahead and are envisioning to achieve success for our clients. We are seeing different ways to help our clients transform challenges into new possibilities and innovative solutions.
Our next speaker is Mr. Rajesh Narayan, Senior Director, Sales Execution and Ocean Execution at Merck Global Service Centers. He has 28 years of diverse leadership experience in Merck, working in different countries like India, Singapore, Denmark across diverse functions like sales, customer experience and operations. Currently leading the sales and ocean execution teams in Merck Global Service Centers. I would request sir to please join us on screen.
Hello all. Thank you for this opportunity to contribute my views in this forum. COVID and its impact on the business environment, I thought, is a topic which all of us will be keen to learn from each other. And I've hence picked this as a topic to share some of my own views in this regard. When the COVID situation emerged at the start of this year, I had personally returned from a trip from Europe and had to go into self-quarantine as a precaution, knowing little well at that point in time that I will not be coming back to office pretty much for the rest of the year. And I don't know for how long, as we have switched to working from home. This to me is like venturing on to uncharted territories and with little opportunities to plan ahead as one would normally do. At Merck, when the COVID situation emerged, we had kept three priorities. The first was to make sure that we protect our employees. The second one, to keep serving our customers. And the third, to support our societies fight this virus. If I first hence look at it from an employee perspective, our initial focus was to get our employees supported to start working from home. And this involved setting up the IT and other infrastructure to set up the work environment at home. This we pulled through quite swiftly. But over a period of time, some of the practices that have emerged, I feel, are even more admirable and stuff we would want to take forward. Let me share with you some of the examples. For our leaders, we have been investing a lot in equipping them to be better coaches. Our leaders equipped with these coaching techniques and now leading teams who are impacted in the COVID scenario are seen to be having conversations which are a lot more empathetic, are also having conversations which are a lot more broad-based and not just talking about work, but also talking about personal challenges and so on. This basically is strengthening the relationship between leaders and their respective teams. And we see that leaders are consequently able to inspire more ownership rather than traditional ways of eyeball leadership in the offices. If you look at the scenario from the employee's point of view, there are indeed challenges, but one big advantage for employees is the fact that they get more time. They also get flexibility of time in terms of how they carry out their activities. It then means that the focus for employees is switching from time to the outcomes that they need to deliver. So basically they get to manage their own times as long as they're able to deliver the outcomes that are desired from them. This is further strengthening the concept of self-managed individuals and self-managed teams now working from home. As a combination, all this is further strengthening the engagement in our teams. And as you all know, engaged teams will deliver better outcomes and results for the organization. Moving on, and if you now look at it from a customer point of view, being integrator of container logistics solutions, our customers expect us to keep all parts of our organization running at this period of time. And this has indeed been our focus too, and we've been able to do that. Of course, meeting the social distancing norms as well as meeting regulations of governments and other authorities. Our customers are also seen using online and digital tools a lot more often, are becoming more comfortable with contactless customer experience. And these are areas which we have been investing in a lot and now turning out to be an advantage for the customers in the current scenario. We also see customer expectations changing quite often in this period. As for example, in some cases, customers want us to slow down their supply chain deliverables because buyers are not ready to take delivery of cargo when they arrive. What it means, or what it has meant for us, is that we are staying even more closer to our customers, working in agile ways, and coming out with solutions that meet the challenges customers face in the current scenario. Our customers consequently are seeing us staying close indeed, and also going all the way in providing solutions that they need at this point in time. If you look at all these aspects in combination, it's clear that while COVID has thrown a lot of challenges at us, when we as an organization have the right and fair priorities, and we are showing the courage to take steps going forward in that direction, being agile, learning from what doesn't work, making adjustments as we move on, essentially the organization actually is seen to rise up to this challenge and in more than many ways overcome what was probably seen as impossible in the past. I'm sure all of you also have examples like this in your organization. If you now look forward with this as the background, and if we are able to take forward some of these good practices and amalgamate that into usual ways of working into a new normal, then I believe we are all on to something even greater looking forward. I hope you are able to relate with some of these points that I raised. I hope you are able to relate and see these great possibilities ahead. Thank you for listening to me. I want to wish you the very best in your journeys ahead, and please do stay safe as well. Thank you.
Let's move on to our first panel discussion discussing the new age rules in the corporate world to fuel a new age economy post-COVID-19. The panelists joining this discussion would be Ms. Satya Vadlamani, Chairperson and Managing Director, Murli Krishna Pharma. Next, we have Mr. Ishan Singh Bedi, Director, Synchronized Supply Systems Limited. Our next panelist would be Mr. Arun Kawale, Chief Marketing Officer, IBM Asian. Our next panelist would be Mr. Prashant Parida, Chief Marketing Officer, Okaya Power. Last but not the least, we have Sarita Singh, Chief Executive Officer, Priyadarshini Group of Schools. Moderating this session would be Mr. Mahesh Shadri, Co-founder and Director, Human Alpha Strategic Solutions.
Wonderful. Good afternoon, everybody, and I welcome you all for this panel discussion. We have an interesting topic lined up, rules in the corporate world to fuel a new age economy post-COVID-19. This is something which has captured all our imagination and focus for the last 3 quarters and more. the whole pandemic. Unfortunate, and we have seen businesses awakening, re-strategizing, and relooking back at their whole business dynamics, be it people practices, culture, the way the business processes is, strategy, technology. I'm sure no matter what industry we are all coming from, we've all had to relook at the way the business is strategized and executed. So it's all about new rules, probably relooking at things, redefining things, which will take us forward in the coming generations. We have Mr. Arun, the CEO of Mobian. Hi, Arun. We have Ishan.
Hi, Mahesh.
Singh. Hi, Ishan. We have Ishan Singh, the director of Synchronized Supply Systems. We have Prashant Parida, the CMO of Okaya Power. Hello, Prashant. We have Satya Vadlamani, the MD of Murali Krishna Pharma. Hello, Satya.
Hello, hi everybody.
And we have Sarita Singh, the CEO of the Priyadarshini Group of Schools.
Hi everyone.
It's great to have you all here, and like to hear all your perspectives, because each one of you is coming from different industries, and how in each of your decision-making roles, in your strategic roles, how you're defining your rules in the corporate world to take forward your business journey towards growth and sustenance. We would love to hear from you all. Okay, so let's begin with Satya.
Go on.
Yeah. Yes, Satya. Hi. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
So I'd like to know, Satya, you represent Murali Krishna Pharma. You have been the managing director and chairperson, a known brand in the pharmaceutical space. So we'd like to understand from you how the COVID has impacted the supply chain management in the pharma industry to begin with. What has been the impact?
Impact has been very bad. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Satya Vadlamani here, Managing Director, Chairperson, Managing Director, Murali Krishna Pharma. Being a pharmaceutical company, we have been running all through and through. So the plant has been running from March. We have not had even a day off. We have not had any time like where we could say, okay, we're shutting the plant down. There have been problems. Even though we were running our plant, whether or not we would get our raw materials, our intermediates, people to work at the plant, it was a horrible nightmare of 3 months. Taking care of the employees who are ready to come and work for us, as well as, like we had to arrange for their places to stay close to our factory, because if they came, they were not allowed to go back by the local residents of their houses. So we had to make arrangements for them to stay close to the facility. Raw materials were not available. We import certain raw materials, and certain raw materials are local. The ones that were imported, there were problems. Customs were not working throughout, and there were issues related to those imports. We also had problems with the domestic supplies, because on an average, every alternate day, some plant would be shutting down, saying that, oh, we are having a problem and we are having to shut down the unit. So it was a nightmare of 3 months. Over these 3 months, yes, we have learned to adjust ourselves to the new era, the new lifestyle, new things. But it's not easy. Not in a running pharmaceutical plant. There's no such thing as a work from home when you're running a manufacturing unit. You have to be present at the plant, you have to be working at the plant. So I personally did not go from the plant for 3 months. I mean, I have a house close by, so I used to go in the nights, come back in the morning. Yes, we had facilities from government that allowed us to run the plant, allowed our people to travel. But having said that, it was not easy. It was a very, very tough period. And I had to sit at the plant, because unless you lead from the front, people are not going to work. They were also looking for an opportunity or an option to say, okay, we can go back and let the plant be shut down for a while. It was a tough time.
Right.
It was tough.
Okay. Okay. So the challenges must have been huge, I'm sure. But did you have to define any rules of the way of the game in terms of your practices, be it your people practices or your business processes? For example, supply chain management or working with vendors. What kind of changes you had to make? Because everyone went through problems. So what changes you had to make, Satya,
Excess
during these?
excess stocking. We had to keep a
Okay.
lot of stocks. Like today, I'm probably stocked with raw materials all the way up to February. So earlier we used to, since we manufacture on what is termed as order basis, we had to change the entire system. We had to ensure that we started stocking the essential raw materials, the excipients, everything well in advance. We didn't know, and today I still don't know. I may or may not get a raw material tomorrow because for all I know, some manufacturer is going to close down for 14 days or 15 days, depending on what's happening. Regarding internal systems, there's not much of a change because it's a pharma plant. So basically, yes, all the rules and regulations have to be obeyed, whether it's cleanliness, whether it's keeping your face covered, whether it's keeping your hands, taking care of everything, sanitizing. These are all a part and parcel of our day-to-day working either way. But yes, some add-ons happen, temperature checks. Probably we had to kind of increase the number of shifts of the vehicles since we had to keep the social distancing between people. So every alternate seat in the bus had to be kept vacant to get people in. So they were tough. It's been an expensive period, expensive learning process. But yes, I think once having done this, I think we can do it. It's a matter of ensuring that you have vitamin M available.
Great, great. So what is the go forward, Satya? Like, probably you could probably phrase it on behalf of a pharma industry. How does the future look like, and what is your advice or inputs for similar players in your space?
It's going to be a tough coming 2 years. Don't expect any vaccine to make your life easier. So it's up to each person. Finally, at the end of the day, every industry has to learn how it has to manage its work. I think IT has had it slightly better, but I think work from home people have probably struggled more than the work from office kind of people. So every industry has had a different kind of problem that they have faced. But from our industry, all I can say is that while it's tough, when the going gets tough, the tough get tougher. So you just learn to live and you just learn to take the things forward. So you have to get used to the new system. That's about it. And I believe every person needs to take care of things on an individual basis. That's from my side.
Right, right. Thank you, Satya.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. We'll move to. Thank you so much. Thank you for your views. So Arun, nice to have you here. So Arun is the CMO of IBM ASEAN, and you're the CMO. So IBM, we all know, has been the forefront of the reinvention of for over a century now. You've always been the technology pioneers. You always led the space at every stage, no matter who comes in at any point of time. So being the industry frontrunners, leaders in the tech space, you kind of symbolize the corporate world as well in many ways, right? So how do you see the whole corporate world? How do you envision the changes in the corporate world itself when they're going through so many changes? Yeah.
Sure. Hi, Mahesh. And first of all, thank you for inviting me to speak at this panel. Before I say anything, let me just preface that by saying that these are my comments. These represent my own views and do not necessarily represent the views of IBM. So with that out of the way, I think technology industry in general, not just limited to India, right? In general, has been ahead of the curve when it comes to, well, not surprisingly, technology adoption. So things like, working from home, bringing your own devices, collaboration across distributed teams, using virtual workspaces, and so on and so forth, were fairly popular concepts within the technology industry. at least in the larger tech firms. So which meant that to a large extent, it was relatively easier for tech firms to adapt to this the new ways of working, that landed on us thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, obviously, other industries were not so lucky. But I think before we look at the impact and the changes that have come in within the tech industry, it's worth looking back at the initial days of the pandemic. I mean, we are all in Asia, and Asia was obviously the first place on earth to really get impacted by the pandemic, which meant that governments around the region were really scrambling for a response, and this was a response which did not have a precedence, right? So nobody knew for certain how long to plan for and what is the best form of response to the situation. So we saw in the initial days the response taking the form of creating some business continuity plans, creation of team A and team B. Again, the larger tech firms had established protocols in place so they could quickly swing into action and roll those protocols out. The smaller ones, not so lucky, so they had some trouble. The infrastructure was not in place to support working from home and so on and so forth. But as you think through what you could call as this, once the dust settled, the immediate dust settled, and as you think through the impact, we saw a few things emerge. Not all of them were negative. I'm glad to report that. But if you look at what has happened in the initial stages of the pandemic landing, we saw that the impact on the cybersecurity landscape was huge. Within the first 2 months. So I guess as the pandemic started to unfold around February, and within the first 2 months, around the beginning of April, that's when the outbreak started to go global, and we observed a 4,300% increase in coronavirus themed spam cyber incidents. I mean, ironically, it's a virus within a virus, right? I mean, cyber criminals were using the outbreak to drive their business with virus themed sales of malware assets on the dark web, and even virus related discount codes. You get an email with a discount code for some sort of a technology piece that would help you get across the virus situation, and you accept that, and you're introducing a new virus into your system. So, and they were also creating, new domains, COVID-19 related domains, which we now realize were 50% more likely to be malicious than any other domains registered during the same time period. So security implications was a huge priority for clients, right? I mean, including everybody in the tech firms, because while we're all focused on securing people, securing processes, if we take our eye off this whole nature of cybersecurity, then you're opening a back door to your enterprise. We also saw, obviously the global supply chains were impacted, and there's an interesting backstory to the supply chain itself, right? Post the global financial crisis of 2008, we all went into this mode of the world is flat and supply chains are global. The more global, the better it is, and so on and so forth. So over the last 10 years, what we have seen is supply chains have become extremely global, and they were all optimized and perceived to be of low risk. But what we saw in the first few months of 2020, post the crisis, was, I think that statistic is 94% of Fortune 1000 companies faced supply chain disruptions due to COVID-19. So what it has meant now is it's sort of led to a trend of a diversification of supply chains to reduce or eliminate this over-reliance on certain countries and certain supply chain centers, right? So we have seen several tech firms sort of relocate their operations into Thailand, and the government in Thailand has in fact offered incentives for companies wanting to shift their factories and manufacturing bases to Thailand. And we saw something similar in India. I believe Apple came to India post the the announcements made by the government in India. So we have seen sort of readjustments, reallocation, realignments of global supply chains, particularly in the tech sector. So that's another key big impact that we have seen. And finally, if you think of some very obvious ones in terms of customer engagement and go-to-market approaches for firms, like any other industry, tech industry obviously has not been immune to it. So the go-to-market has changed, pivoting more towards virtual sales and other channels taking priority over face-to-face selling. From a marketing perspective, obviously, we all doubled down on customer-focused digital marketing approaches, and which has meant that it's become even more critical that we capture and apply every bit of data that we can use to drive greater insights and greater intelligence around accounts. So a whole lot of changes coming in both at the back end, i.e. the supply chain, as well as the front end in terms of how we engage with clients, how we even rearrange our house, right? Rearranging the house in terms of putting together digitally sellable offerings, for instance, or digitally consumable virtual demos, for instance, or proof of concepts which are now totally digital, so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, it's unfolding. I don't think we can claim that we know the true extent of the impact. It's unfolding, but I definitely think we are in a much better position today to sort of get our hands around the situation and prepare to emerge stronger going forward.
True. Thank you for those insights, Arun. So digital is going to play a huge role in the coming times. So what are your thoughts on how agile or how mature should organizations be in terms of embracing digital transformation? You could probably tell it from the perspective, not just large corporates, from the mid-size MSMEs too. What is the importance of digital transformation according to you, considering the changes we're going through?
I think let me preface my comments with the observation that the current crisis has really accelerated digital transformation across the board, across the industries, big, small, medium, take your pick, right? It's accelerated digital transformation across. I would think that digital transformation initiatives have really been brought forward by a few years. And it's interesting because if you think about, before the crisis hit, I think about 70% of the companies had some sort of digital transformation strategy or initiatives in place, right? But what's interesting is it does appear that most of the companies were not really that far along their digital transformation initiatives. They were engaging in probably bits and pieces, a pilot here, a chatbot there, and so on and so forth. It wasn't really enterprise-wide, company-wide transformation initiative. There wasn't really an attempt to look at the whole company, all the processes in total, and take a stance of what do we do to transform ourselves. It was more of a small part of the organization, often led by a more enlightened leader or a manager saying, I'm going to transform this little piece of business that I have oversight on. So what the crisis has done is given a quantum leap to such digital adoption initiatives. And there's a huge amount of consensus building up on this, right? I mean, there is a lot of consensus, and you speak to different leaders across the industry, they'll tell you that transformation initiatives leveraging on digital technologies have accelerated. And so if you can start with that canon, it does provide us a very clear pair of lens to look through and sort of begin to make sense of how the next couple of years is going to turn out. So clearly, I think technologies such as, AI, cloud, robotics, automation, AI-infused automation, blockchain, these are technologies that have definitely found greater traction, and I believe it will become even more pervasive. We'll move from pilots and incidental implementation or accidental experimentation to more deliberate organization-wide initiatives. And as it does so, it will begin to radically change the makeup of the whole business. And as you look at 2020 itself, we have seen cloud adoption being a very clear winner. Cloud companies have sold out of capacity. I mean, they run out of capacity. New data centers are being set up, and it's phenomenal. I mean, every other company seems to be aligning themselves as a cloud provider or a vendor offering cloud-like offerings. Software companies becoming software as a service companies, so on and so forth. Everybody is becoming a as a service provider in our industry, and everything will become everything as a service, and that's going to be the new norm. Again, just to address your specific question around medium-sized companies, I think what is what we are observing for small and medium enterprises is increasing uptake of automation. We saw RPA, robotic process automation, becoming more acceptable over the last couple of years. But what we have seen happening now is cognitive automation or AI-infused automation becoming more of an accepted trend. The difference obviously is, typically robotic process automation or previous automation initiatives have been what we call as deterministic or rule-based. If this, then that. If you find this is this, then just take this action, right? It's very rule-based. But what we have seen is move away from those rule-based automation approaches to a self-learning, AI-based approach coming in. And this is a big trend, make no mistake. It's big because, again, we saw this happen in China. China was one of the very first impacted, the first impacted country, back in February, March. And what we saw was when the first wave of the virus died down, when employees started coming back to their offices and workplaces, we found that the return rate was about 60%, which meant that about 40% of the employees never came back to work, never came back to office. And that is what we, how we define the cliched new normal. The new normal is not going to be 100% of employees coming back to work, right? Which means that certain tasks which require a human intervention or which required a human intervention, you need to start looking at how can we automate those with technologies. So this is where we believe a combination of automation, AI automation, and humans will come together, each doing what is best done by, either machine or humans. And the combination of humans working in tandem with machines is what we believe is going to be the future of the new normal, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Arvind. Thank you for the insights. It is really valuable.
Sorry, Mahesh.
Sarita, I would like to...
Yeah, Mahesh.
Yes. So Sarita, you represent the education sector. You're the CEO of the Priyadarshini group of schools.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have you here. I would like to understand the education space in itself has gone through so many changes. In fact, radical changes we are all witnessing. We're all parents as well, some of us, I'm sure. The traditional way of education itself has gone through change. My first question is, has the change been embraced, according to you?
I would like to ask, have you embraced the change yet? Because how was the experience in the beginning for all of us? So we are still getting the hang of it. And the same is with the parents and the students, they are still getting the hang of it, adapting to it, because, bandwidth, connectivity, gadgets. And since our schools are in the interiors, like if you look at the figures, almost 1.5 billion students and hundreds of millions of students are out of the school. And now everything is online. So this is going to go on for a while. But the thing is, the crisis is forcing educators like us and the parents and students to think critically and to be very, very creative and very, very innovative. And students have started taking their ownership on over their learnings, understanding more about how they learn. Because first the ownership was with the teachers, with the schools. Now, since the online, the students have started taking the ownership, but it's a particular sect of student who understand the online learning and who can, who have the connectivity and who access to it. So it depends on the systems around them, how the systems and the gadgets are working around. But as far as the AI is concerned, AI connects people at their homes. You can sit at home and you're connected with the world, with your office, with your school, with anyone you want to. But I think it has its own limitations because and the whole world is watching it. The limitations, the whole world is watching. The crisis I feel the crisis has cast a very bright light on deep inequalities, not just who has better devices or a better bandwidth, or as I said, it depends on what you have, what kind of connectivity and what kind of Wi-Fi you have. So I feel self-learning and the parents having time, spending time more with their students sitting at home and trying to explain them how to get the online education. So it's all a combination of everything. I think, Mahesh, I lost you. I don't see Mahesh, or you all don't see Mahesh. Okay.
See me either, sir.
Yeah, he disappeared. Sometimes I disappear, sometimes he disappears. I think somebody can text Sarmat saying that Mahesh has disappeared.
He's back, I think.
Seconds.
Yeah, Mahesh?
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, sorry, Sarita, I lost you in between. Yeah, we're talking about the
You might lose me
embracing the
now
change.
again while talking. So this is what I was talking about, the connectivity problem.
Yes.
We don't know what goes wrong, why the camera goes off, why the mic goes off. So this is what we are facing on a daily basis when it comes to online education. And it is a stark reminder of the hard-hitting fact that how important physical schools are. It's just a crisis management which we are doing, but I don't think it's going to be there forever. And I think this crisis is giving AI a massive insight at a scale as to what human development and learning looks like. It's like, there is no personal touch. It's like potential shift from just content distribution to augmenting relationships with teachers, classmates, and personalizations and being independent. So now you're totally, completely dependent on the internet, on the AI, on the tech. So this is what is happening. So when the school is there, you're more independent. So there are the pluses and there are the minuses also. Now the biggest issues the schools are facing is the digital learning was rolled overnight. We were not given time to train our teachers. There was no sufficient bandwidth, Most of the schools did not have the lease lines, or in the schools in the interior never even thought of going online. So it was rolled out overnight. So this is the
Okay.
problem, and what happens is the students and parents will always associate online learning with I would say lockdowns.
Okay.
Like when
Okay.
you remember your school, if I asked all the panelists sitting here what were the best days of your life, you'll say school times or college times. But when my students grow up and I ask what was the worst day of your life, they would say the lockdowns and the online learning, because it's really very frustrating to log in and using the different products which are not really apt to the education. And as far as the students and parents are concerned, online learning, they're still, as I said, getting hang of it. And of course, poor connectivity problem, missing the personal touch, the campus fun, there's a lot of fun at the campus. Like how much can you sit in front of the screen for 8 hours, 7 hours, and there is no classmates, no teachers, no recess, no other extracurricular activities. So how much can you just sit and do your online learning at home? So I think when this storm passes, schools will be rewatched. There is of course a revolution. It will be there. There will be major changes, but certain schools might revert back to the traditional teaching. Certain might have a combination of traditional and the online teaching. So I feel the COVID will demand more and more online teaching, but the school will eventually look at coming back to their traditional teaching, because campus is the best. I would say summer of '69 best is, so it's something like that. You cannot miss the fun on the campus.
One question I have is what kind of processes you're bringing in to ensure that the quality of education remains the same? Although there's a combination of virtual, some traditional is being used, but what processes you're bringing in as part of your institution to ensure that the quality remains the same and probably better too?
Well, it's very difficult to match the quality with the physical school. It's very, very difficult because physical school has teaching aids, labs, and we have a lot of activities going practically in the school. Like all of the guests sitting here, probably most of the kids would be doing online classes. And Mahesh, I think you also, I don't know if you have kids, but
Yes,
you
I
know
do have.
how frustrating it is that they get up at the 7 in the morning, with dark circles, and they're sitting in front of the screen for hours. And there is absolutely just looking at the screen, and the teacher is just talking, talking, talking. So it's 1 day, 2 days, I can understand, but you can't go on and on and on, for like months. So initially we thought lockdown would be there for 15 days, and it's fine. We might, do it for a while, but then it went on, then 15, 20, 30, and it went on for months. So the kids, the parents, the students are really getting frustrated. They want to get out of the, their bedrooms. So what we are trying to do is, we are not focusing more on the subjects, like
Okay.
other than the major subjects. We are focusing more on the emotional and the mental health. So what we have done is, we have started a lot of counseling sessions for parents and students as well, and more counseling sessions are for the parents because parents are feeling more frustrated to see their kids sitting at home. Like, when the work and offices started, we all started going out. We had something to do. There was a purpose of life, and the lockdown came. We know we have to get up in the morning, get ready and go to the office. On the way, we meet 10 people, we do a lot of things, and by the end of the day, there is a job satisfaction. That's something we did in life. So this is happening with us. But what about the students? What about the children sitting at home? What is the purpose of life? Just sitting in front of the screen. So a lot of anxiety issues, lack of tension. So we have started a lot of counseling, soft skills etiquettes, these kind of things, wherein the students have this kind of emotional balance. And also we try to make them do yoga. That is the only thing you can do it in a room. So a lot of Surya Namaskars, and also our focus is more on that, rather than, making sure that they learn their particular subjects and we complete the syllabus.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sarita. It's good to know about that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the wonderful news ways of education which is happening. Ishan, I would like to hear from you. I loved what I read about you. Call yourself as a technology-focused logistics solution provider. So my direct question is related to technology itself. So what is the role of technology in a space that you operate in, be it warehouse, transportation, and logistics? What has been the role of technology? Could you please share about that? And I believe that's the future. I would like to hear how you are differentiating yourself.
Mahesh, so basically logistics or domestic logistics, which is trucking and warehousing, is an industry that's been stuck in the 70s, and it still is, aspects, even, minor technology adoptions, which were, incorporated in companies, maybe 15, 20 years ago, are new to this space, right? And part of the reason is not because, companies don't want to adopt the technology, but it's because, our teams are, very, for example, we have drivers who may not be, even educated. And then we have, people working in the warehouses who will have some basic, education. And therefore, they're not the first ones to always adopt technology. But, with the advent of the smartphones, now technology is, all pervasive, and it's, moving on to anybody can use a smartphone now, right? And which has opened up this huge avenue for technology adoption, even in an industry like ours, where it was not possible till about 10 years ago. This has us very excited. So the trends that we see, or the trends that we are seeing right now, are one that we about 4 years ago we made a decision that technology is the only competitive advantage that is sustainable over a long period of time. So we, went down the path of, building technology. This was before the pandemic. And if anything, the pandemic is, only reinforced, our belief, because while lots of the competitors that we have were not able to respond as quickly, we, because of the technology that we have, we were more agile, right? And hence we were able to get back on track much quicker. So even today, we have 3 sets of, people working in our company. One is the drivers who are always on the road, right? Then we have the people who are working in the warehouses, which is a bit like a plant, like how Satya says, there can be no work from home. But then we have a huge team of corporates where, 80% of our people are still working from home. And this big team that's working from home is, much happier working from home, because the industry that we come from, a lot of our team was migrants, and they used to live, in small houses away from their families, and they didn't enjoy that, experience, but they had to do it for work. But now with the pandemic, they've gone back home and they're not coming back, But luckily for us, our technology allows us to, allow them to work from home. And so it's a mix, We've got for part of our teams, we've got a gig economy going, where we can monitor productivity sitting at home, and which is great. For part of our teams, we are focusing on productivity through smartphones, where we now have a direct communication with the drivers through technology, which is easily accessible. And part of our teams which are working in the warehouses, we have other pieces of technology which allows us to ensure that their productivity is on the up. Overall, I think technology is the only differentiator. In a services business like ours, we're not selling a product. We can't make it. This our perspective is just technology, right? A couple of the key points that Satya raised and Arun raised, which are the impacts of the pandemic. Satya mentioned that stock levels are going up. So as a warehousing company, that's good news for us, because the more people stock, the more business there is for us, and that's actually a good thing for us. Arun mentioned that, supply chains are getting localized. And we are listening to a lot of this, in the news as well, that, there's a lot of domestic incentives for domestic supply chains, which again, as a domestic logistics service provider, it's a huge benefit for us. And we are very gung-ho about the future, where we see that, the opportunity as a manufacturing hub, then, it's very good for logistics. So that's the, space that we're in. One piece that, which while technology adoption, as Arun mentioned, is, very prevalent and has become, a key focus area for most companies. One aspect that I would like to add is that, we don't just believe in, buying of technology. We are now, we are so convinced by technology that we're believers in building it. And we feel that, maybe 10 years down the line, a technology function will be like an accounting function. Every company will have one, right? And we will find that, technology will get easier and easier to build, but we will find that people will want to build technology for themselves, for their businesses, which, will always be like a customized suit as opposed to a, ready fit that you buy from a supermarket, right? So the perspective is that technology is all pervasive. It's going to be there for the future, and it's the only differentiation. And as to what Sarita said, I totally agree with her. I think schools should be opened up as soon as it's safely possible. All parents agree with that. I think that is also a very important aspect.
Thank you so much, Ishan. I think technology is, in fact, I would say it's your top driver in your organization. And I'm sure that's going to be the way for most organizations across industries, and we have to embrace it. Right? Thank you for those wonderful insights. Thank you, Ishan. Prashant, you represent Ukaya, right? Yeah. So Ukaya, Prashant is the CMO of Ukaya Power, and one of the pioneers in the battery manufacturing industry. Been there for a long time now. And I have a very direct question to you. And having researched about Ukaya Power, what is the role of quality and innovation as part of your business excellence at Ukaya Power? Could you please share more about it? Prashant?
Sure. Just to set the agenda and the preamble, we talked about my all esteemed friends talked about. This is a classic example. Currently, I'm down with Corona. It's the 10th day, and I'm available with you on this beautiful platform. So this is the technology. We are all connected, right? So I think this is the classic example how technology can connect all of us. In this beautiful manner. We, as a battery manufacturing company, battery is pack of energy and captive power, whatever you call. And it's a misnomer. I mean, it's a very, not that taken care of kind of category of the product, whereas the whole life, today's life runs and future is for energy and mobility. So we are into all these segments part. The technology has a varied impact into the individuals, to the processes, to the product, and to the business environment. All aspects. Individuals, we all are experiencing. Pros and cons will always be there. Is actually the as a country, if we talk about, in last 3-4 decades, lot of revolutions have come. So far, product part is concerned, started with the automobile, then came the mobile BPOs, then the mobile phones. Today is the e-commerce. You will find this is a market where nothing evolves. It's such a huge market, India. Everything just explodes. When things explode, it creates a knowledge gap. It's a knowledge gap part. The manufacturing, R&D, which has taken a backseat for so many years in the country, I think for last couple of years with Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, you will find that manufacturing prospects are now improvising. It's increasing. That environment is being built. Technology is coming. The foreign investments are infusing into the country. Post, we cannot use the word post. Till the time this positive is there, post facto will never come, right? So we have to see the futuristic aspect, not the post aspect part. We have to live with it.
Yeah.
Everybody is going. Only thing is ki my request, just do take care of your old age parents and neighborhood. Rest all, I think we all have to get it. We all have to live with it. My whole family is down with that part, the 10th day. So at least we are not in isolation. We are within the house. We all four are living together. We all are four positive, right? So, but it's part of the life now. At least after 14 days, we have the antibodies. I don't have to wait for the vaccine now. Okay. So now that is the individual front. Then comes with the processes part. My friend Ishan and Arun talked about the supply chain aspect part, AI part. So we as a company also had started the preparations a couple of years back.
Okay.
Now we have also attained the 100% digitization.
Mm-hmm.
We are a product center. It's a capital intensive company, the product part. So you as a customer have to see the product, feel the product, then you buy a product. You have a lakhs of rupee car, but if a battery with 3,000 bucks battery congs off, we simply, make hue and cry with a dealer key, the kind of a warranty, the kind of the quality, all those things part. Similarly, primarily in the Hindi-speaking market, Northern Indian belt, where scorching sun is there in the winters, summers part.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot live even 10 minutes without a fan.
Right.
So then the inverter role comes. So battery has become such a part and parcel of our lives part. So we, being in the pioneers, we had been improvising on the quality, surveys. Since, see, we talked about the business environment part. See, the lockdown, believe me, battery was never put in the essential commodities part. Whereas then what we did, we made the task force all across the country.
Okay.
By 400 salespersons, 700 service guys, all were given the responsibilities for their neighborhoods part. If you find any emergency, by any means, we have to provide the battery, particularly to the look around for the old age people, sick people, because shops were closed. It's a 100% lockdown part. Even in my neighborhood, there was the old couple. So whole night they were without power. And morning, they organized 2 batteries for them. They were so happy. So you bring happiness, bring smile to their faces part. Small gestures. We created this kind of task force. But when the lockdown opened, believe me, YTD sales, we are plus 20% than last year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
So it's not about the category is doing fine, but then it comes to the innovation part. The last aspect which I'm going to cover is
innovation.
The future is about energy and the mobility I talked about. We had already invested heavily into the lithium battery, electric vehicles, and EV chargers part. Fossil fuel is going to be end some or other day, right? It had been so now world over you will find that electric vehicles is the in thing part. But Government of India this time, I talked about that knowledge gap, but this time country is prepared. Let me tell you, as one of the top category manufacturers in this category part, the government is focusing more onto the infra first before the cars hit the market. Although it has already started making inroads, but the infra has to be in place first. So we are installing EV chargers all across the country. We have already done. We have in pipeline. The Government of India has released order close to 2,700 chargers, out of which 500 we have already installed. More than 1,000 are already in pipeline to be installed. And we have the orders of 10,000 chargers in pipeline. Imagine the kind of the highways we are going to cover, malls we are going to cover, residential societies we are going to cover. There's the infra part, because chargers will be there. Tomorrow when you buy you have the charging facility, your pumping stations are there, fuel stations are there. Then there's another thing which is coming. I'm talking about the technology and the innovations part. The another product which is coming is the swapping stations part. Arun must be knowing in the Singapore and other the Southeast countries where it's already prevalent. Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Petronet already have this, right? Petronet, sorry, already have this. So in India also, we have already initiated this. So we are going to install these swapping stations also. So a vehicle comes fitted with the battery. So you just go take out the discharge battery, put it there in the charging section, and take a charged battery, and swipe your card, make the payment, and drive away. So a lot of these things we had already started investing into. We are going to make the country self-reliant. So for this technology part is concerned, a lot of other things are there.
Nice.
It's the endless thing. As an energy.
Yes, Prashant.
Huge thing.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'll have to interrupt you at this stage because of the next panel. But what I understand is a lot of innovations taking place at Okaya. You're leading the space through innovations and technology, and also the Atmanirbhar Bharat. It's really wonderful to listen to some of the initiatives at Okaya Power, right? It was wonderful to listen to you all, each coming in your own industry space, and how you embraced technology, embraced innovation, embraced your own internal supply chains, right? And how proactive you have been, how dynamic you all have been amidst it's a VUCA world we are in, and also the pandemic has in fact made it much more complex, much more volatile, and the way you all have embraced the change and still growing and sustaining is a huge testament of the leadership in your respective brands. It is wonderful to listen to you all, and I'm sure it will be wonderful. It's a great days of growth ahead for each of the brands, and I wish you all the best, right? Great to listen to you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahesh. Thank you, everybody.
Stay safe. Stay safe. Take care.
Do you take care, Prashant? Take care. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you so much for such an exciting panel discussion. Brands are not built in a day. Every successful brand is a result of years and years of hard work, dedication, continuous effort, and sleepless nights. Our first set of awards is to honor some of the best brands across 14 industries and categories. Selected as India's Most Admired Brand 2020, ICICI Bank is one of the big 4 banks of India. The bank has subsidiaries in the United Kingdom and Canada, branches in United States, Singapore, Bahrain, Hong Kong, Qatar, Oman, Dubai, China and South Africa, as well as representative offices in United Arab Emirates, Bangladesh, Malaysia and Indonesia. The company's UK subsidiary has also established branches in Belgium and Germany. India's Most Admired Brand 2020, Merck is connected to every corner of the world and finds new ways to connect and discover new boundaries. Merck was established a century ago to simplify the shipping and cargo services by making logistics easy. Merck is known for going all the way for its customers, and today it delivers to more than 120 countries and is transforming the future of the trade. India's Most Admired Brand 2020, Microsoft India Private Limited, is a subsidiary of American software company Microsoft Corporation, headquartered in Hyderabad, India. The company first entered the Indian market in 1990 and has since worked closely with the Indian government, the IT industry, academia, and the local developer community to usher in some of the early successes in the IT market. Microsoft currently has offices in the 9 cities of Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Kochi, Kolkata, Mumbai, New Delhi and Gurgaon and Pune. Selected as India's Most Admired Brand 2020, AIS Glass is a leading glass manufacturing company and Supplier India for auto and architectural glass, which offers frosted, toughened and solar control type of glasses. The company manufactures and distributes automotive glass, float glass, mirrors and processed glass. Next, we have India's most admired brand 2020, Crayon Software Experts. Crayon is a global leader in IT and digital transformation services and the largest independent cloud economic practice. Crayon, through its unique team, tools and system, ensures the best ROI from complex technology investment, and that is why Crayon is the most reliable and trusted technical advisor for many of the world's leading organizations. India's most admired brand 2020, NEC Technologies, is the top tech mogul with a global network of more than 50 countries and 300 companies. NEC impacts our daily life and provides social infrastructure solutions about anything and everything that lies between sea and space. India's most admired brand, Infobip, is a global cloud communications platform that equips businesses to build customer experiences across all stages of the customer journey at scale with easy, personalized and contextualized interactions over customers' preferred channels. Infobip provides products that allow businesses to build better customer relations, and with experience of more than 12 years in the industry, Infobip provides refined and effective solutions. India's most admired brand 2020, iSwap, have rejigged the idea of sharing information online and optimization of business processes by teams via never-ending collaborations by an ultimate platform providing a one-stop solution for collaboration and the latest range of apps equipped with in-sync collaboration tools, easy sharing options. Next up in the list of the India's most admired brand 2020, we have Cooper Surgical with us, a unit of Cooper companies that deals with medical devices and fertility and genomics, which was founded in the year 1990 and currently manufactures over 600 clinically pertinent medical devices. Next up in the list, we have Blackberries, an Indian formal wear brand owned by Mohan Clothing Company Private Limited. Blackberries is equipped with the latest technology of manufacturing in 3 factories that have been specifically designed for the manufacturing of suits and jackets. India's most admired brand 2020, we have with us Hadi Tehrani. Some of the most iconic buildings in the world exist because of the mastermind Hadi Tehrani, a world-famous architect and a product designer. In 2011, Hadi Tehrani Project Consultants India was formed, which is headquartered in Bangalore. The design team is comprised of 20 people, which is led by the man himself, Hadi Tehrani, who is the principal consultant. Next up in the list of the India's most admired brand 2020, we have with us TVS, one of the largest spare parts industry in India, known for its diversified industrial conglomerates and is headquartered in Madurai and international headquarters in Chennai. India's most admired brand 2020, Phoenix brings to you One Bangalore West, a home with endless possibilities. Most rewarded residential apartment with world-class amenities and facilities. A growing multicultural community and beautiful landscapes that are situated at a great location. Selected as India's most admired brand 2020, we have with us Somani Ceramics. They boast a large inventory of tiles, floor tiles, wall tiles, kitchen tiles, sanitary ware and bath fittings best suited for your home and office. Samani has adorned homes with delight, exuberance and vivaciousness, resounding with the quality, strength and life of its products for over 4 decades. India's most admired brand 2020, we have with us Alt Balaji. Alt Digital Media Entertainment Limited is a wholly owned subsidiary of Balaji Telefilms Limited, which is headquartered in Mumbai. Balaji Telefilms, after taking over the television and making a strong impression in films, it was the time for Balaji Telefilms to reach directly to the audiences individually and provide the audience with personalized content by creating content that is exclusive, original and tailor-made. India's most admired brand 2020, Parryware is India's top manufacturer of bathroom products and has been originating brand in this category. It is owned by a bathroom marvel Roca Group, which has its root in Spain. India's most admired brand 2020, we have with us Daffodil Software. Daffodil Software happens to be one of the most top software engineering partners to 100 plus organizations across the globe, which has been constantly supporting these enterprises in creating more robust products, building a productive team with efficacy and more efficient process. Next award for India's most admired brand 2020 goes to Tata Autocom Systems, a Tata Group company and India's leading automotive components conglomerate that provides products and services to the Indian and global automotive OEMs. Tata Autocom has 37 manufacturing facilities and spread across India and 9 facilities spread across North America, Latin America, Europe and China. India's most admired brand 2020, Columbia Pacific Communities offer unmatched value to their partners, residents and communities we serve. Today, we are India's largest independent senior living community with over 1,600 homes in 9 communities across 5 cities. India's most admired brand 2020, we have JSL Lifestyle. Founded by Sri O.P. Jindal in 1970, Jindal Stainless is one of the largest stainless steel conglomerates in India and ranks among the top 10 stainless steel conglomerates in the world. Next award for India's most admired brand 2020 goes to Cactus International, a leading diversified professional services and investment management company. With operations in 68 countries and more than 15,000 enterprising professionals working collaboratively to provide expert advice to maximize the value of property for real estate occupiers, owners and investors. India's most admired brand 2020, PM Relocations, helps you to relocate. PM Relocations is one of the top service providers in the move management and relocation service industry. PM Relocations is the world's most admired move management specialist. India's most admired brand 2020, Flip Learn Education is an award-winning e-learning app designed to supplement a child's learning. Every student has their own pace of learning and also has a different approach when it comes to studying different subjects, and that is the reason why Flip Learn provides a personalized study experience based on the learning style of a student. India's most admired brand 2020, we have Stanza Living. They are redefining students living in India by building a tech-enabled, professionally managed community with international standards. They have a workforce of 750 people and plans to grow to 1,000 employees across 20 cities in India. India's most admired brand 2020, Priyadarshini Group of Schools. The walls of Priyadarshini School reflects a future possibility and the corridors honor young dreams and rooms that prepare the dreamer of the future so that your students can turn their vision into reality. India's most admired brand 2020, aseptic packaging brings resilience and newness and has become extremely popular amongst new age customers. It combines aesthetics and usability. India's most admired brand 2020 Mamaearth is Asia's first MadeSafe certified brand that offers 100% toxin-free and natural baby care, skin care and hair care products. It is a brand that brings the best of science and Ayurveda together, that caters to personal needs of the young, sentient and aspirational Indian consumers. Omax is one of the leading real estate company and chosen as India's most admired brand 2020. A trusted real estate company for more than 3 decades, Omax has delivered 124.3 million square feet of space in real estate and construction contracting. Omax has been catering to the needs of families and corporates to achieve their goals. The company focuses on delivering simple and classy life with a touch of luxury. India's most admired brand 2020, Sunpure. It is one of the leading brands on many fronts. It is India's first chemical-free processed oil, which is physically refined with improved patented technology for refining issued by the Government of India. It has been a part of every healthy kitchen for more than 25 years now and is Karnataka's #1 sunflower oil brand. India's most admired brand 2020, Flow Mattresses. The founders Gaurav Zatakia and Kshitij Rihal spent 2 years and tested over 130 different combinations of foams to arrive at the one perfect mattress for all Indians, the Flow mattress. It is most feature-rich mattress one can buy online, and this is validated by 1,000+ 5-star photo reviews from its customers. India's most admired brand 2020, Amplify, is a digital marketing and design agency that has tailor-made services. The team has some of the best professionals that ensure you get exactly what you need. They take pride in matching your brand's requirements by comprehending your target audience. India's most admired brand 2020, Clovia, is one of the leading and most trusted brand for laundry brands in India, headquartered in Noida. Clovia boasts about the wide range of choices and high-quality products, which makes it a one-stop destination that covers all the needs of under fashion. India's most admired brand 20, Human Alpha, is human and cultural-centric business management consulting firm offering strategic and growth-enabling services, having a direct correlation to the growth of the Human Alpha, the most admired brand 2020, it is a human and cultural-centric business management consulting firm offering strategic and growth-enabling services, having a direct correlation to the growth of the company in terms of revenue, profitability, scale, and customer base expansion. India's most admired brand 2020, Lixil Labs and Flamingo 360 Degrees, digitally equipped. It's a full-service marketing agency. They help to lay down structures for the brand and cater to brand augmentation by growing their marketing programs in the digital environment. In the realm of digital marketing, Lixil and Flamingo are leading names that strengthening their roots in the advertising segment. India's most admired brand 2020, Namdhari Group, is a family-owned business founded in the year 1985, and since then they are raising the bar and have diversified when it comes to agriculture and farming. It is the icon of epitome of the global fresh market.
India's most admired brand 2020 in the field of learning and development, Radiant Infonet Private Limited, is a pioneering endeavor intending to administer and develop the most advanced assessment practices and solutions in the country. Radiant Infonet is making headway. It has been providing assessment services for sector skill councils, government body, certifications, technology solutions which leaves a mark on its clients and candidates across the country.
37 number, Itsy Bitsy. India's most admired brand 2020, Itsy Bitsy has made more than 10,000 art and craft products, making Itsy Bitsy biggest retailer for arts and crafts. Itsy Bitsy was founded in 2007 by a couple, Rashmi and Harish, with a mission to make the highest quality art and craft supplies accessible to all, inspiring creativity. India's most admired brand 2020, Click on Care, is a trademarked health and wellness brand catering to a global market at the domestic and international levels. A healthcare and wellness online store with over 500 active healthcare brands and 5,000 plus active products renders cosmeticals.
India's most admired brand 2020, Parallel 23 is an integrated creative agency with expertise in brand building, consulting, design, branding, digital Arkansas and VR, media planning, buying, and innovation.
Next in the list of the India's most admired brand 2020, we have Synchronized Supply Systems. It is one of top leading transport and warehouse companies. It is the first technology-enabled company that has changed the game of the traditional trucking and spacing business to conventional transportation and warehousing in India. Next award goes to Explore, a rising quick service restaurant chain focused to provide a quick and delectable experience. Based out of Mumbai, Explore is constantly growing its chain of themed fast food outlets across India. Next award goes to Encraft, a flagship company of the DCG group. Encraft is a leading manufacturer of UPVC doors and window systems in India. Encraft prides itself for combining advanced technology with high-tech machineries and conforms to European standards EN 1268. Encraft prides itself for combining advanced technology with high-tech machineries and conforms to European standards EN 12608. Next award goes to Fansart, a symbol of luxury, the brand that has helped evolve the concept of luxury ceiling fans in the country. Next award for India's most admired brand 2020 goes to Modi Care, India's leading direct selling limited company offering services across multiple sectors such as personal care, wellness, skincare, color cosmetics, jewelry, food and beverage, home care, auto care, laundry care, technology, accessories and agriculture. They have a national presence through its 7,000 distribution points and over 47 Modi Care Lifestyle Centers and 2 Modi Care Success Centers. Next award for India's admired brand 2020 is Saint Botanica. Conceptualized in Australia and reared in Thailand, it is a prominent wellness brand founded in the year 2007. A premium nature-inspired healthcare and cosmetic brand that has successfully blended age-old natural traditions with effective skincare solutions. Next award for India's most admired brand 2020 goes to The Natural Wash, a brand that has mastered the art of mixing Ayurvedic and herbal ingredients into 100% natural, vegan and chemical-free handy products for an end-to-end body care ritual. Next award goes to Wisdom Capital, a pioneer in online trading and first mover in discount brokerage segment. Wisdom Capital also has an offline franchisee coverage in 250 locations across the country, thus supporting both online trading as well as broker-supported trading. Next award goes to Okaya Power Group, a pioneer in the battery manufacturing industry. It is India's most diversified energy solutions company. It produces a wide range of batteries suitable for all kinds of application with a very diverse product. Next, as India's most admired brand 2020, we have KD Financial Services. Set up in the year 1995, the firm offers for financial planning, retirement planning, wealth management, estate planning and loan facility for armed forces personnel. Selected as Asia's most promising brand 2020, Murali Krishna Pharma It is a dynamic drug delivery system company that provides a range of effective solutions to optimize the delivery of pharmaceutical products. Last but not the least, we have Cactus Communications. It has been selected as Asia's most admired brand 2020. It is the world's largest provider of scholarly communication and technology services to academia, moguls and life sciences, the publishing industry and more. Other selected Asia's most admired brands are DBS Bank, Emirates NBD, Great Eastern, OCBC, QNB, King Saud University, NUS, Petronas, Almarai, Fraser and Neave, Rani, Tiger Bear, Cerebos, OSIM, City Development Limited, MR, Keppel Corporation, Rock Ceramics, Etisalat, Singtel, Fair Price, Landmark Group, Dasithani, Emirates, Jumeirah and Singapore Airlines. Congratulations to all of you. Our next speaker is Mr. Mohit Nirula from Columbia Pacific Communities. He is the CEO of Columbia Pacific Communities. He believes that Columbia Pacific Communities is not just any community for senior people. It's a vision, it's a culture, and a mission that will change the world. I would request sir to please join us on screen.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk to you about Columbia Pacific Communities. The most important element within our name, which is Columbia Pacific Communities, is the word communities. And what we do is really design communities where the center of all our focus and at the core of everything that we try and do is our future resident, who is normally a senior citizen, a person who is of between the age of 50 and above, and a person who's looking for a lifestyle that fulfills all the needs that he has on the day that they move in and for the rest of their life that they stay with us. So in many ways, what we call the homes within our communities are forever homes, homes that you will be happy in on the day that you move in and over the next 30-35 years that you stay with us. So in that sense, it is indeed a community of people who are like-minded, who have fulfilled all their responsibilities. They've fulfilled their responsibilities to their parents, to their children, to their careers, to society, and to the nation at large, and are now entrusting us to look after all their needs as they go forward. Columbia Pacific Communities is a very interesting amalgam of really three distinct industries in themselves that come together to create a solution that serves all the needs of our residents. 1/3 of us is a real estate company in the sense that we design communities, and a senior living community or a community designed with seniors in mind is very different and very specific because it has to be good for residents on the day that they move in, when they may be 50 years of age, and until the entire duration of their life that they spend with us, which could be the next 40 years. And as you can imagine, needs change, abilities change, and the community should be good for them, as accessible, as practical, as usable to them on day one as on 30 years or 40 years later. So from that point of view, we are very much real estate. So we design the communities and we build them. Another part of us is hospitality, which means that our residents will depend on us as service providers to look after all their needs, whether that's security or housekeeping or engineering or dining or food and beverage. Just anything and everything that they need will be fulfilled by the one same service provider, which is us. The third part of our business becomes healthcare. And healthcare also takes into account two different aspects. One is what we call, and what differentiates us from everything else or everybody else, is the concept of positive aging. It's a lifestyle approach which keeps our residents healthier from a physically fitness point of view, from a mental health point of view, from an emotional engagement point of view, from an intellectual stimulation point of view, but all in an extremely socially engaging environment. So that's positive aging, which allows you to live healthier for longer. And the second aspect of it is obviously the medical needs which one may have today, which could be whatever one needs help with today, and as the needs change over time. But most relevantly and most importantly is also in the case of emergencies. So we have a full medical and paramedical setup which will be able to react to any emergencies immediately 24/7, 365 days in the year. So essentially we have three promises to our future residents, and the three promises are really about the first one being a zero headache lifestyle where you can leave all the problems of your day-to-day chores to us, and we will be looking after you, your needs, and your home, irrespective of whether you're residing with us or traveling. So when you go out from a clean and healthy and happy home, and you come back to a clean and healthy and happy home, and even your plants will be looked after by us. So there is a zero headache lifestyle. There is positive aging, which allows us to ensure that you are healthier for longer. And God forbid, if you ever need any help in case of a medical emergency, then also we will stand by you. So that is the Columbia Pacific community's promise for all our residents, current and future.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful talk. Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is Shweta Pathak, founder, Akarshan Gems and Jewelry.
Welcome to Ideasfest 2020, Shweta. It's a pleasure having you here. You have been chosen as one of India's inspirational leaders, as a great Indian entrepreneur. You're redefining the industry. Let me just start with a quick brief on you, and then we will straight away start with your perspectives. Shweta is a dreamer. She shifted her career from IT to raising a luxury jewelry brand, Akarshan Gems and Jewelry. Her formal education includes BE Computer Science, MBA from Symbiosis Pune, and an executive MBA from Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, New Delhi. Having worked in the corporate sector for 8 years, she took a paradigm shift in her career because of her a collection of natural gemstones and fancy colored diamonds that you shifted to. Shweta persuaded gemology from Jayashree Panjikar, diamond grading, and various other courses in the field of gems and jewelry from GIA India. She explored through various national and international markets by visiting mines, trading centers, national and international shows in her ardent to learn more in quench to raise a luxury brand called Akarshan, the divine power of attraction. And what an achievement, because Akarshan has become one of the best jewelry brands in niche category, thanks to your great passion, overall interest in the industry, and you are a young leader who's redefining the industry. Shweta, talk about these tough times that we are all going through because of the global pandemic COVID.
I would say, Abhimanyu, I started Akarshan in 2014 properly. Like 2012, I left my IT career. 2 years I took to study the market, to understand the integrity of the market. And 2014, I started up with my proper studio where I call Akarshan as a luxury brand, where I was standing in front of a lot of brands in India, which are mostly retail brands. There are very few luxury brands, and there are very few brands which are able to distinguish themselves from others in India. If you say overall in India, the jewelry market is a retail market. It is not a designer dream. It is not a designer paradigm. It is mostly a retail segment. In that, trying to bring in a change, there are few designers like me who are trying to bring in a difference where we are saying we are making jewelry which is wearable, which is a piece of art, and which is not something you would say is a kind of item to retail. It is an item to adorn. So we are trying to bring that change, and that's why we call it as a luxury segment, because luxury is something which you adorn, you aspire, you want to have that one piece from that particular brand because you feel that you deserve it.
So that's the kind of difference I want to bring into the jewelry industry segment. And as you said, keep 2014, now then we had demonetization, then we had GST, then we had a strike for all the jewelers for around 50 days. And now this Corona, things had never been easy.
Yeah, markets have been very tough for everybody, but most industries, for a few maybe who are, gladly continuing with the business because of this situation. There are certain industries, and I hope and wish the best for them. God blesses them during this pandemic also. But 80% of the industries are very badly hit.
It is.
And retail may be one of them as well. So are we actually, because our business functions on how all others are doing. So we are also to a lot of extent. So tell me something. In this situation, what becomes your leadership strategy? How do you connect to your consumers and generate trust? How do you connect with your employees and generate trust? What do you really do to keep everything afloat?
Actually, trust me on this, even we as a leader at times fails in a lot of things.
Yeah.
So sometimes it happens that we have to keep the trust of the employees, but sometimes because employees are not keeping those, like hygiene standards or those social distancing, so sometimes they become threat to us. Like my staff, I gave leave to a few of them who had a wedding in their family. I said, because you are under so much social, exposure, that getting corona infected is kind of chain, which we cannot control if we are not maintaining those social distancing parameters. So sometimes we even get into trouble that how to exactly maintain that kind of, because we get into dilemma. And then we have to ask our employees, okay, fine, take a leave for some times. If you are not feeling well, take a leave for some time, because we cannot get ourselves into this exposure because our family are in line with that. So it is a tough time where a lot of measures has been taken. Sometimes salaries are being cut. Sometimes we go into lean model strategies thinking that how to survive ourselves in this situation. Because as we survive, we have to take a lot of parameters. Sometimes we have a philanthropy approach where we think of everyone. Sometimes we have the thinking for sustainability, where we think about the business first, because if the business thrive, then we can as the time gets over, we can get them back. But for time being, we might have to cut them down. So it's all the business strategies which works time to time, depending on the market we are sitting into, depending on the market we are catering to. And because of the Corona pandemic time, all the industries are being hit badly. Market is, as it is in the luxury segment, if you would see the entire world, each and every luxury product has been hit badly. Only China is able to do good. Even Europe market is being hit badly. US market is being hit badly. We would have not been talking like this. We would have been getting this award in Bombay or London if this would have not happened.
Absolutely.
So the whole plan of my expansion plan, whatever plans I had for myself and Akarshan, again has come down to a level where we again has to maintain the sustainability first, where we have to think how to continue being in the market, how to continue being into the business so that we might grow as things again goes back to normal. But for time being, sustainability is the key.
Okay, enough of this gloomy talks of COVID and all that. Concentrate a little bit on, okay? Now, you're a very interesting personality. Shift from an IT to a luxury niche jewelry. How did that transformation happen?
Actually, I had been a nerd in my school days. I was only into my studies and a very focused person into maths and biology. My mother wanted me to be a doctor, but I had a very good maths as a subject. I was a very good math student. So I never thought about anything much in my life. I just kept on going with the flow. So when I was working, I got married, then I had my daughter. So after my daughter, my family, which is a typical, a very conservative family, they had problem me in my corporate world, balancing the work and life and everything and giving time to my daughter. So my daughter then started speaking and walking for 1 year till she turned 1. So my parents got worried and they asked me, Ki Shweta, she has not started walking or talking and doing anything. I said, okay, fine, let me take a break from my career. So I took a break from my career and then I did executive MBA, meanwhile, teaching the basics. Again, I tried to go back to my job. Again, my parents and my family had issues of me balancing between my job and my career and my life with my child. So they said, what if you quit your job? I said, what I'm going to do? Then my father had this collection of gemstones and he is the first person who introduced me to natural fancy color diamonds. Okay. So we have a spiritual organization. So my parents mostly used in a very different perspective. But I said, no, I'm a very normal person. I can create beautiful jewelry from it. I know they are used for healing. I know there are a lot of good advantages of the gemstones being used in India. But I see as a piece of adornment. So for me, jewelry had to be a piece of adornment. So I use these natural fancy color diamonds. In India, nobody knew about natural fancy color diamonds. So that became my niche segment. I did a collection with velvet case and natural fancy color diamonds. And then I was being called by 2-3 more websites in which I did designer diamond jewelry. In one, I did Love You. I did the natural gemstone jewelry. I was awarded as the top 7 jewelry designer in India in 2016. So I was among Farah Ali Khan, I was among Yash Agrawal, Ghana Singh, and all those Meena Wala who won that. They're in the top designer segment. So my industry is being very kind to me. They are appreciating my work. They are seeing that I'm trying to bring in the hard work into the industry.
So consumers have been kind to you because your work speaks for itself, isn't it?
Still, I have to break through the segment much more. I'm trying to create that niche. Again, I do have my share of difficulties to survive. It is not that everything comes very easy. Yeah, so everyone has their own share of difficulties. I'm not able to hear you, Abhimanyu.
I think everybody is going through that trouble time.
Yeah. So it is not that things just came to me. It didn't came very easy to me. I had to really work very hard. And you know what? I asked, like, everyone has a story. So I said, even I started my first studio from a garage. And that was my friend's Dadaji's house garage, from where I started my studio with, because I didn't know what exactly future has for me. I just wanted to do something different. I had this in my mind that I would not dilute myself, because when I see Harry Winston, when I see Tiffany, when I see Van Cleef Arpels, and I see 100 years of Indian legacy of jewelry industry in India, I say, why we don't even have one brand which is going to the high streets internationally?
Absolutely.
Then we have the story of Nirav Modi coming in. He was another person who tried,
No, go ahead.
So Nirav Modi also tried to do what I'm trying to do, but he was little in hurry. So because of that hurry, he took some steps which were not very ethical or didn't fit into the, the right parameters. But his dream is the kind of dream I also carry for myself. I really love the way Nirav Modi got his piece in Christie's. I really love the way he was, creating that niche segment, which actually is the need for the day when Indian brand goes internationally and stands in those high streets. When I went to London, I attended this IGL, and then me, Sumesh, who is the owner of Ado Jewelry, and Shashidi, whose wife, we went to one of the good Joykulas jewelers. Again, we had to go to those lower streets to find an Indian jewelry brand. I didn't find an Indian jewelry brand standing in the high street of London. Though we have such art, we have such skill, we have everything in India, but not even a single brand is able to go there. So still that becomes my niche segment, which I want to target over the time, and I'll be working on that.
We are very sure about that. My last question to you, say 3 winning strategies for Shweta Pathak and Atishan Gems and Jewelleries post the COVID. Thinking that, okay, December probably we finish COVID, though it will not, but hypothetically, what are the strategies post that?
Yeah. So see, I have been approached. I have been approached by Rob Report. So Rob Report wanted to put my jewelry in the best of the best segment in the October only. But because of the COVID, I kept my hands a little tight and I said, no, it would not be possible. But when I checked on the Rob report in October, so they have wanted to put my jewelry with Van Cleef Arpels and Tiffany and Harry Winston, like in the being featured in that particular magazine in Bulgari.
If Rob report is coaching you for featuring with the best, so you've already gone to that level. But apart from that, strategies,
So now I have planned for the December edition of Rob Report, and I am already online with few of the portals. I'm trying to get into more international platforms where I can put my jewelry among the international designers. Its only thing is that in India, there are a lot of difficulties. We have difficulty exporting our products. We have difficulty, if I had been into any other segment, delivering shipping outside India would have been easy. Jewelry, there are a lot of duties. Once we had an order from Singapore, then we realized that there is 21% entry tax. And trust me, it sometimes customer is not ready, even we are not aware about those norms and laws. So there are a lot of things I'm doing one step at a time, trying to explore my market internationally as well, nationally always, reaching to the right people. We were in the luxury festival in India, which happened by Quit essentially. So we are not putting our products everywhere. We're not diluting ourselves. We are very focused and strategizing on how exactly to grow Akarshan as a luxury brand, maybe one step at a time. We are not in a hurry, but eventually we'll be there only. We won't dilute ourselves for anything.
These tough times, how are you generating trust with your consumers and your customers?
Actually, I'm blessed that my customer never leaves me. I get continuous orders, so I never approached anyone. I never did a lot of like marketing or publicity so far. Now I'll be doing some promotional events. Definitely, I want to reach out to more consumers now. I want to reach out to more space. But otherwise, I have been lucky that I never had to ask for work. Work came to me.
So you have been God blessed anyway. So you're not in any kind of trouble any which way. So it's not even a discussion we are having. You're God blessed. Your business is going fine, and we hope and pray the best for you. May you rise and shine and be with us.
But only thing I'm trying to make a difference here is that I want to command price. Like, the way Manish Malhotra and Sabyasachi does.
For the years with your branding, exercising, that will only happen with that. I'm sure with time you will be labeled along with those guys. We wish you very, very best for this.
India is a tough market because Indian people jewelry is like breakup. They don't consider as a piece of art. They don't see the hard work which goes in. They don't see our artisans' work. They don't see that we are trying to we are going to save our art. We are just equally important. And this jewelry you're gonna wear, adorn, give it to next generation. Manish Malhotra Langa, you could just wear it for twice. So again, this change, this thinking, change in thinking has to begin. And jewelry designers has to get this due place in India.
Okay. Absolutely. It was lovely talking to you. So for the viewers, Shweta has been chosen as one of the great Indian entrepreneurs by WCRC leaders. Is been chosen on research of work that Shweta has been doing for the few years. You've heard a story that she left a corporate career after a kid, and made a very successful brand with her hard work, with her dedication, with her leadership skills. And truly that has been the agenda of Ideasfest. How, Shweta, actually leave the COVID time. You have been a fighter that, you had to leave your job as, after the birth of your child. Then you made a very successful brand. And that's exactly the philosophy of a great Indian entrepreneur. We salute that spirit of a great Indian entrepreneur. And we are very glad that our research team at iBrand 360 has chosen you as a great Indian entrepreneur. Thanks a lot for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Very best, Shweta, in all your endeavors.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Anandya Datta. He is the founder of Stanza Living. He founded Stanza Living along with his friend in 2017. It is a premium student accommodation with high quality services and he revolutionized the idea of staying in the hostel and gave an edge to the student accommodation. I would request him to please join us on screen.
Hi, I'm Anindya Datta, co-founder of Stanza Living. We are India's largest and fastest growing managed living business. I think the starting point for my thoughts is the fact that adaptability and resilience has become buzzwords for all organizations, institutions, and people. Just look at this event itself. Who would have thought that we'll be gathered for a virtual, seamlessly organized awards event while continuing to operate remotely? In fact, the onset of COVID-19 has been transformative for most businesses and companies across sectors. And people have become very much more focused on sustainability of business models than they were prior to the onset of the pandemic. Across the board, organizations which have responded and reacted to the challenges which COVID-19 has thrown us in the most nimble and agile manner are the ones which are going to be outsized winners in the post-COVID world. The story is no different for the managed living sector either. Consumer behavior has seen a strong shift away from price sensitivity towards a razor-sharp focus on living quality, on hygiene, on reliability of service delivery, and consistency of experience management, aspects which Stanza Living prides itself on. When we started Stanza in 2017, we were told by a lot of people that our concept was way ahead of its time, that India was changing, was becoming more modern, was becoming more aspirational, but yet some of these changes would take much longer than we anticipated. However, consumer preferences and behaviors are changing dramatically over the last 7 or 8 months. And we feel that things which would have happened over the next 5 years are now happening in a much accelerated fashion and will continue to do so over the next 12 months. COVID-19 has been tough for all businesses in the managed accommodation space, especially on account of the temporary dislocation caused by shutting down of colleges, universities, and workplaces. However, there's growing consensus that in the backdrop of this forced change, which is happening as a result of this pandemic, managed living providers with strong balance sheets, with resilience, with innovation, agility, and consumer focus will continue to be significantly well placed in a post-pandemic world and will get outsized benefits in terms of market share and growth. We at Stanza Living are very excited about the future of this sector in the coming months and years. We are seeing a strong recovery across geographies as the broader economy opens up, and we expect to grow manyfold in the coming 12 months. We expect the same will be visible for all other sectors and all other companies in sectors where there is very strong focus on innovation, on balance sheet strength, and on sustainability of business model. Once again, thanks a lot for everyone for giving me this platform. Stay safe.